Welcome to the Blue Room Podcast, an intimate space where we explore ourselves, our lives, and our relationships more deeply through therapeutic conversation. I'm your host, Vantana Shatamsa, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Today, I have my girlfriend Autumn here with me. We're going to chat about entrepreneurship and what it's like being in the wellness industry as an entrepreneur. I think there's like a lot of misconceptions around that. But first, I guess I got to explain why our setting is different today. And I've been prepping on like how I'm going to like explain this to folks in a way that like it's still like an ongoing thing. Like, you know, like legally, right? And then that part too. So I got to kind of be mindful about what I'm saying. So I've been working on kind of rebranding for a while. So Blue Nile has rebirthed to Sacred Lotus. So if you followed Blue Nile page, you'll notice that all the branding has kind of changed. Our website's also changed. And that was a personal journey. That was a spiritual journey that was already kind of happening simultaneously as other things were happening. So it's really interesting how like the universe is like really aligned. But I was kind of outgrowing Blue Nile in the sense of like I really wanted to focus more on holistic but like deeper, like more ancestral ways of healing, like going back to our roots and encompassing more of our traditional practices and the way that we service and the way that we market and the way that we advertise. So I've been on this kind of spiritual journey around that. And a lot of what kind of, I guess, started that journey was being in this commercial space and being in business. Like, because you go into wellness and you're like, I want to help people. I want to be balanced. I want to like support the community. But then being in business is also so cutthroat.
Exactly. It's like you have that, you hold that intention.
Yeah.
But there's so much that comes along with it that has a deeper impact that's beyond your intention.
Yeah. And a lot of it is, you know, beyond your control. And then I found that I was beginning to operate outside of my values. The way that like I was kind of handling our team and our operations and things like that, I was like, wow, this is not why I started this thing in the first place. So, you know, I was really trying to kind of refocus and realign. And then as I was doing that, the bills were also piling up. And the market's just crazy right now. Inflation's happening. Like, we'll just call it what it is.
Exactly.
Like, I just could not pay the freaking bills. Like, at the end of the day, like, but I wasn't so bad. Like, I mean, my staff were always paid. Rent was pretty much always paid. That's just the reality of what it is. Like, I'm just being real.
That is a huge accomplishment.
Like, I mean, we made it over a year. Like, I didn't have a late rent payment for like a year.
That's
like,
amazing.
We were doing, you know, like screw the personal side. Like, I was living a life, and I still am. I really believe in like enjoying life. Like, you know, I'm not gonna limit how I enjoy life.
Exactly.
And how my family enjoys life because of, you know, finances and things like that, which, you know, I'm really glad Stephanie's gonna come on. She's an accountant. She's maybe gonna put me in check for saying that. But I'm like, this whole kind of like, what's the word? Like capitalism, I think.
Yes.
Just the way that like, you know, everything just has a price and we're just kind of forced to not, you know, operate and live life.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, like save all your money so that you can enjoy life at retirement. It's like
a retirement.
Let's live in the moment. I mean,
Absolutely.
We have like young children. We need to do things and build these experiences.
Create memories.
And it's so important.
It's so important.
There's always like work.
There's always work.
There's always work to be found.
Yeah. And there's always bills that need to be paid. The tasks will never stop piling up. Like if you don't just like make that like executive decision in your own life to be like, I am going to enjoy what I have, going to enjoy the moment. You know, other people are going to make the decisions for you.
Exactly.
So
it's a good balance between living within your means and living in the moment.
Yeah. Always kind of balance in between those
Yes.
two. Between those
and
two.
sometimes we can fall more so to one side.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It ebbs and flows.
Exactly. And trying to balance the both. So I mean, unfortunately, like as we've been seeing in our community, a lot of businesses have been, closing down. So many of like real
sad.
staple, like pillars in our community. We're just not able to keep up. At the end of the day, like, and consumerism is different because of inflation.
Exactly.
Like, people are not buying and spending and doing all those things that we used to do because everyone is just feeling the pinch. So we were feeling the pinch, and we kind of had to make that decision to leave the commercial space before the lease was up. And I'm gonna be real honest right now, like really honest. Like we, I think we were maybe just 1 month behind on rent, and we were in conversations with the landlords. We had this outstanding bill. We were working it out, and I don't know what happened. I could start feeling some tensions and things in our communications, and things would happen over the phone that wouldn't correspond to what was happening in email, and I was picking up on little nuances. And then one day we just kind of got this letter that was like, if you don't pay this crazy freaking amount of money, that I don't even know how they came up with this number, but it was like, it was thousands and thousands of dollars, like within like 5 days. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They were like, we're gonna put a hold on. Yeah, this is what happening, guys. They're like, we're gonna put a hold on all your equipment, and then we're gonna lock the doors, and you can't leave, you can't do nothing. And it was just like, I wasn't so surprised because actually that morning that we got the letter, the new business name was approved.
Oh, wow.
Like it was just like all these things were just kind of meshing. And then I had actually had a meeting with my staff a few days prior. And I was like, you guys, I'm just being honest with you. Like things are just kind of really difficult to manage right now. I don't know what the future is going to be like for Blue Nile. So the staff already kind of had it in their mind.
Right.
And I just like, I knew that it wasn't sustainable, but I wasn't expecting that abrupt thing to happen. And maybe if it hadn't have been abrupt, it might not have happened. I might have continued to struggle through the months. You know what I mean?
Almost like a blessing
kind of
in disguise. But that abruptness can be so traumatic.
It was.
It's like that quick change where you just have to, like, your whole life is flipped upside down.
Yeah. We had to set up a new space in like less than 24 hours.
Wow.
The only things I could take out of there was my personal stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't take any equipment or anything because it was a legal thing. I think the word is called distraint or something. And it's like, they literally legally have ownership of everything in there.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
It wasn't even like I was like, do I feel sad in this moment? Like, or do I feel more relieved?
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Because
Totally.
I was like, I knew that it was just not sustainable. And then these things were, kind of piling up, and these kind of signs were all over the place. And like, of course, I'm really disappointed in the way that the landlords handled it. And I thought that like we had conversations going. I felt like it was like aggressive and really bully-like behavior, but
it sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna see what happens. I'm just really grateful for like the supports that I had in that moment, because I called my mentor, my friend, called my lawyer, and everyone just like supported me in the moment. And I thought I was gonna have like a huge breakdown. But I was like, it was more relief. I think that was the feeling that I felt.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you were able to come out in a strong way. And it sounds like that catalyst moment really propelled you forward and being like, okay, this is like the new path,
path.
and you knew that that was the new path, and so it's just like, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. It's happening today. Yeah, I think I was like mentally and spiritually preparing for it with like, you know, rebranding and knowing that my intentions were not aligned. Like I felt all these things kind of happening, but yeah, that was the catalyst moment. Like in the middle of the night, I felt like a thief in the night. Like I'm not even joking. I packed my bags, my personal, like all that I could. We canceled our appointments for that day, and I was like, "This is it. We're starting a new chapter."
Good for you.
So here we are.
Here we are. This new beautiful
the new blue room. This is the new blue room.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
It feels like home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, so I feel like your energy just fills it. As soon as I came in here, it was just like a sigh of relief. I was like, I want to get on the massage table. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. It's a moment of celebration. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I can totally relate business-wise with how that would feel. I've been there.
Yeah, because you guys had your commercial space for.
We did in the beginning.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that. Yeah, I just had to let folks know, just in the spirit of transparency, why all these things are looking like this. But like I said, I'm here with Autumn. She's a friend. She's also an entrepreneur. And we've been friends for a few years now. Before the twins were born. Before Irie was born. Yeah.
Yes.
And we met through a sound healing event that you were doing with Bahia.
At the practice. And you've kind of always emphasized, like, to me, when I think of like your practice, is like spirituality is a big part of this overall wellness, which is why I resonate so much with the work that you do in wellness. Like, I feel like there's like holistic wellness that's like very physical focused, but you have this like spiritual and mindful way of doing, you know, operating your wellness practice, which really resonates. Thank you.
Yeah, with me. And for folks who don't know about your business, you want to let us share a little bit about it?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the co-founder and owner of Flow Meditation and Wellness. So we opened, oh my gosh, it will be 5 years beginning of August. Wow. So 5 years in business, which I know is like a pretty big milestone.
It is. And
we've transitioned a lot over the years. We started with a commercial space just off of Argyle Street in downtown Halifax, and we had taken over a commercial space. It was a 9-month lease, and honestly, 5 years ago in Halifax, there really wasn't a whole lot of mindfulness meditation happening.
No, you guys were the first that I remember. I was like, what is this meditation studio opening up downtown?
Yes. And it's true, because we were looking for places that offered mindfulness meditation, and there really was nothing like what we wanted to offer and what we had experienced. And so we had a really cool opportunity to take over a commercial lease for 9 months. And I remember starting out, it was really hard to make ends meet by like introducing the whole concept of mindfulness meditation to the city, to hiring different facilitators, hosting different kinds of events. It was almost like we were working so hard to just make ends meet that there was nothing left over, and it took away from our whole mission and purpose of opening in the first place. It just became like a struggle, and we were like trying to like host all of these things and do all of these things just to make rent, when really we needed to grow more organically and do things in a different way. So after the 9 months, we made the financial decision that it didn't make sense to have a brick and mortar space. But it actually...
After 9 months?
After 9 months.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought you did the full...
No, we had taken over a commercial lease, so it was over, and then we had the option to renew. But we realized
that's good.
It was good.
Nice.
It worked out well for us, because then we had started gaining a lot of momentum and building community, that we started building relationships with other studio owners and others in the wellness industry in the community. And so we just started popping into different studio locations to offer classes, and then we would rent out spaces to do different events and collaborate with a lot of other people and businesses in our area that we could show how mindfulness and meditation is so accessible, and it can be applied to basically anything you do. And so that was really awesome, because we didn't have the high overheads of a downtown Halifax studio, but we were still able to make a little bit of money on the sides. We still had our full-time jobs, and it was working really well. And then during the pandemic, all of the community classes that we had been doing had to shut down, and so we had to pivot again. So we moved to, during the pandemic, we were doing a lot of online. We started doing, free meditations through our Instagram page. We would do, we started doing a corporate wellness programming and workshops, and we were doing online for a while. And then when the timing worked out throughout the pandemic, we hosted a few retreats.
Oh my God. That Costa Rica retreat changed my life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that
was beautiful.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing now. And it feels so in alignment, and it feels sustainable, and it feels really good in a lot of ways, because we have, now that we've kind of been through all of that, we have a good handful of revenue streams, which allows us to have, to run a successful business, but also be in alignment with our mission and purpose of creating a happier, healthier, and more connected society through mindfulness.
Absolutely. Girl, I get emotional. I get emotional thinking about Costa Rica, because your values and your desire, and just like what you guys are trying to do with flow meditation, really showed in that retreat. And I also want to say, nothing is a waste. I still consider myself successful. Even to make that
100%.
You know what I mean? To make that decision, kind of to pivot and rebrand, and switch gears and switch focus. That's all part of entrepreneurship.
That's really is. And I've been there when we decided to close the studio down because we weren't making any money off of it, and we were digging into personal finances. I was a wreck. I so loved this space that we invested so much time and energy into. As you know, building a brick and mortar space with your branding, you just put your whole heart and soul into it. And there were so many beautiful moments and powerful, transformative moments within those walls. And to let that go in the moment, it felt like a failure. But looking back, that was the best decision we could have made, because it wouldn't have been sustainable otherwise.
No, exactly. And none of it's a waste. Like you said, the partnerships that we built, in that year, we built really strong partnerships that are still ongoing within the community, within the corporate world. We made relationships with clients. We reached a different demographic downtown, 100%. Which we wouldn't have been able to reach outside. We grew, and it was in a lot lot of terms a successful practice, just not financially sustainable.
Exactly. And there's so much more to measure your business in success than financial.
100%.
And so I think that you should be really proud of yourself, and I'm so excited for what's to come for you.
Especially with this like ancestral kind of focus. Like we, retreats is something that we want to do, workshops, getting more into the corporate world, community. There's so much that we can do. Like a commercial space is not the end all.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But if that's the way you want to go, that's great.
It is. I would agree. We need those physical spaces.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting how to do business. I know, reflecting on like where we started and like coming up with a business plan, I feel like the common way to do things is like, okay, build your brand and your business up first. Then when you get to a point, you can open a business or leave your full-time job. But it's kind of like we just like dove right in, had to open up the space.
That's entrepreneurs though in general. We're just like so like creative idea. Boom, let's make it happen.
And you make it happen, and it's kind of you joke that it's kind of a backwards way of doing things, but it also
you go back.
It works out. It works out in a lot of ways.
It does. And I wouldn't have learned the lesson any other way. I would have still been wondering, should I to this day I'd be like, should I do a commercial space?
Right. Exactly.
But the fact that like we've experienced it, and now I'm like, I'll never do that again. It's not worth it. Like it's not.
But now you know.
Now I know.
And you can focus your time and your energy and your resources elsewhere.
100%. And make a bigger impact.
Yes.
I feel like
100%.
You know
totally.
what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, well, usually at the beginning of the episode, we pull a card. But let's do that. Let's just pull a card. We have the and deck
Absolutely.
here.
I love when we get in conversations. It's just like right to the real.
I know.
There's no time.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Just like real or nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. And we already had a conversation prior to this, so our jaws have been yapping for a bit. But yeah, I want you to pick a
I would
card.
love to pick a card.
Yeah, you go first. From the top, from the middle.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
Describe a moment that changed your life.
That's for you.
It's for me.
It's for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many defining moments. Do I have to just pick one?
But I mean, you can say what comes to your heart.
What the first thing that comes to my heart is when I found out that I was pregnant with Florence, my beautiful 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that changed everything.
Yeah.
In an instant. It was very unexpected, and it was the most defining moment of my life.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. Why? What changed?
Every decision that I made, I considered the growing baby within, and it just propelled me forward in a way that I never knew was possible. I just wanted to be the absolute best version of myself for her, and it inspired me creatively and financially, and it just changed everything. I thought I was doing well. I was living life in Vancouver, and when I found out I was pregnant with her, it just really propelled me forward in the most amazing way.
Aww. And now you're expecting your third.
And now we have a third on the way.
Y'all can't tell under the stress, but she is pregnant.
Little baby boy in here.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, shit. This is terrible. Okay, so wait, these are the same cards that Tia and I picked last time, and we went from the middle of the deck, so I don't know. Yes, the one that you picked was the one I picked last time, and the one that I picked now is the one that Tia picked last time.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't even know if I want to answer this. Okay. When was the last time you were ashamed of your finances, and why? Isn't that terrible? Like, God, what are you trying to say to me? What do I need to do? I need to stop booking these trips. Like, I'm going to Caribana next week.
Where are you going?
Caribana. I'm like, I'm just living my life. I'm not ashamed. I'm like, no. My bills are paid. This is the thing about me. I don't have a big cash reserve. I love investments. So like any extra money that I have goes to the kids' education savings, my RSP, our TFSA. That's where like all my money goes. So like it looks like I don't have a lot of money, but it's invested into something.
Yes, that's smart.
It's invested in something.
So great.
Would I like to be in a better place financially? Yes, I would. But I mean, all my bills are paid. Now that I don't have this commercial the abundance is there. You know, my kids are like, let me like put this in, because I think I label myself as like not good with finances. But like when I really think about it, like my bills are paid, my kids are doing well. We live in this beautiful.
You have this beautiful home.
I know.
You have all of your basic needs are met.
Absolutely, and extra. I go out to eat. Yes. I like, you know, if my girlfriends want to go out and like have a drink, I'm available. If I want to plan a trip, I can.
Yes.
So what am I like? I don't know if I'm like waiting on a certain number on my accounts, or like I just wish the bills would stop billing. Like, I just,
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I love your answer to that question because it's like, actually, you know what? I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
I'm like out here living my life and
enjoying
thriving.
it.
And
Absolutely.
even though I might not have like the hugest cash reserve, that is totally fine. Who's putting that like pressure stigma and pressure on you that you need more? It's always like, we're always striving for more when it's like, no, I am enough. This is enough. I'm not ashamed.
I'm content. Yeah, I was like, damn, I'm ashamed right now, but I'm not. Like, I feel like when things get, you know, overwhelming, like I know when to kind of, you know, pivot, like, you know, like with that commercial thing, like I knew it wasn't going to be sustainable, and like we were just 1 month behind. Like it's not like that terrible.
No.
So I'm like, you know, we're not doing so bad. But I like there were definitely spots in my life where like I was, you know, doing food banks. I was like on income assistance, like with a young son, living on in like what do you call it? Public housing, government housing. But I was like not stressed at all in those moments. Like I was like, I guess maybe with the less you have, the less stressed you are.
It's true.
Too. Like I was like, we're just living paycheck to paycheck, and I was like, you know, I was like so content with it. Like we had like a, you know, little nothing car, and you know, like a little neighborhood, just like a little 1-bedroom apartment, and it was fine.
And it's those simple things that mean the most.
Absolutely. I think our mindsets, the mindsets have to change.
Right. And our society, it's like an overarching problem.
Exactly. It's not the circumstances.
It's not.
It's the perspective.
Totally.
But yeah, let's chat about this mindfulness and entrepreneurship, because we're both in this wellness industry. And one thing that I admire about you, because I think sometimes there's a perception about folks in wellness is like, you know, we do go with the flow. We do, but when we have projects that we're working on and we have events that we're working on, we're trying to deliver these things to communities.
Right.
We're very like passionate about our stuff, and like we're very on it with our stuff. That's one thing I admire about you. Like, you know, you put this whole retreat together. Like when I facilitate stuff for you, like you're checking in with me, like just a reminder, like I think, you know, you're hosting a thing tomorrow, like do you need anything? And that's actually something I adopted, because it's like it's a nice way to check in with other facilitators, but also make sure like your shit is running appropriately and properly, right?
And I felt that support from you as well. Even for our podcast recording today, I felt so supported by you. And when it's your own business and your whole brand, then you know it's important to build those strong relationships with, whether it's a subcontractor or someone you're collaborating with, because that builds trust, and then that helps establish a strong business. Yeah,
it does. And it creates relationships in a way that seems like more personal, so that like, you know, in the future, if I was gonna ask you again, like, would you like to co-facilitate? Like you've already laid that framework or that foundation of us having this good relationship that makes it so much easier. Cool. When it comes to like, you know, trying to put projects together, and like, you know how stressful it is, like, you know, trying to organize like the retreat. I can't imagine like what like how many things, because you were like checking in on me. You're like, are you gonna book your flight yet? Like I was late booking the flight, and she was like, are you gonna check in on
it? Support with that?
Yeah, like how do you do you need support with that?
How can I support you?
And you literally did. Like you booked like the whole thing. You're like, I was like, wait, how'd you get this price? I was like, this price like for 2 ways. I remember being like, is that like, you know, I was like, wow, unofficial travel agent.
That's so funny.
In those like chaotic moments, how do you continue to stay mindful?
In those chaotic
and
moments,
calm, or do you just not? Do you just lose your shit? Moments of that too. It's balance.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like with the business, I feel like for a while in my like young 20s, I had been so conflicted because, you know, I studied international development and sustainability in school, and then I knew that I needed more technical skills, so I did human resources management. But I was also had this like huge passion for traveling and exploring and connecting with people, and I I didn't know what I wanted to do for so long. I like was interested in the fashion industry, but I felt like it was such like the negative sides of things. I just was like nothing. I felt like nothing was lining up, so I just kind of was dabbling in a few different things while following my my heart's desire to travel. And so with flow meditation, I felt like I was really able to combine all of my interests, my passions, and my strengths and have it as a business. And so it kind of works. So in those chaotic moments that might seem chaotic for somebody else, for me, this is just like lived experience and it's tried and true. And so I guess it comes with experience, being able to contain my emotions when it comes to business. I would say that's my more professional answer, but when things get chaotic in my personal life, I think that because of the type of business, being in like the calming wellness industry, I for so long was putting a lot of pressure on myself to always keep it together. And I was just like, I am an owner of a mindfulness meditation company. I can't be angry or mad or frustrated. And I was just like always trying to show up that way, whether it was with my kids or my partner or within work. And then I got to the realization through self-awareness that that was not healthy and okay. And so I became more honest with myself in each moment about my emotional state and just became closer to being more compassionate with accepting where I was when I was. So if I was feeling frustrated or stressed or angry, just giving myself that space to process that and meet myself where I was in that moment. And if I needed to have like a raging scream, then like, I would do it. And
oh my God,
so that's really what I'm trying to embody is just meeting myself where I am, because life is hard. It's stressful. Things change that are out of your control. And if you're always just trying to be like happy or joyful or calm, that's not life. That's not real. And it's going to catch up with you.
100%. And you're right. Like when we're in wellness, like people think that about me too all the time, is that like I'm calm and I'm very grounded, and I have majority, yes, like but like you want to see me like, you know, these private moments like with my kids, or like, you know, trying to co-parent and do all those things, it's like you would not recognize me. Like and like if people wanted to expose some of the text messages that I have sent out, it would end me. Like it would literally end me. But like that's all to say, like anger is also a part of our human experience. It's
so valid.
It's so valid.
And it's healthy to be able to express that.
100%. Righteous rage.
Yes.
1,000%. Like we have to be able to express that. But definitely
we can't deny it.
No, we can't. Because then we'll bottleneck, and then that's when illness comes. Dis-ease.
Dis-ease.
And we're not trying to get sick. No, we're literally not.
That's opposed to everything that we're trying to
manage and do all. It's
like all about like living that full human experience.
100%. I want to feel angry. Like I want to express that. I want to express sadness. Like sometimes I'll try to make myself cry. I'm like, I haven't cried for like, you know, like 3 years or like whatever. Like today I had a good one. It's like, oh, it was almost there. Like, you know, they but sometimes like I remember recently, like I drove down to the waterfront, like Bedford waterfront. I was like, these tears are going to come out because I hate having that buildup and the tears just staying right in my eyelids. I'm like, just come out. It's like, I don't want to hold you anymore. Like,
it's like you feel it in your body in so many different areas. And I had a session with my therapist this morning, and I was telling her all of these things that were happening in my life, and I was holding it together. I was being strong, and she was like, have you had any emotional release? And I was like, I have. Like that, like, you know, I have it in like unexpected moments, or when I create that space for myself at the end of the day when I'm sitting in meditation, or after the kids go to bed and I just sit with myself and reflect on the day, then it comes out, and we create that space for our emotions to
breathe.
To breathe and process.
100%. I get that a lot through physical activity, like going to the gym, like is such a stress release for me. Like, and I'm like sweating it out. Like it's, you know, it's not, you know, it's not tears that come through my eyes, but like, I feel like I'm still like, you know, through my pores, like all of it that I'm holding, like it just sweats right out. And like, I feel so much better after, and like with like, you know, mindfulness in our industry, like it's, yes, we're in the wellness industry, but it doesn't mean that like we don't get angry, we don't get upset, we don't get disappointed. And, you know, I think we're very blessed to be in our industry because it's one thing to be an entrepreneur, which is like this hustle and bustle and just like, you know, always kind of trying to sell yourself and put yourself out there, which we do have to do. But because we have these practices of, you know, mindfulness and previous like massage and things like that, like self-care in general, like when that whole kind of, you know, crashing down was happening, like yes, I was feeling relieved, but I was like, you know, I was having conversations with people. They were like, you know, why don't you have like, you know, I hope you have a good day, or like, I hope you're not like too stuck on it. I was like, listen, my whole week, I know is blocked off. Like I went to Sensi, I went to Ocean Stone, I like spent extra time in the gym, drop my kids off in other places, like safe spaces where they could go, like just so I could give myself that time to breathe. Like I couldn't imagine, maybe if we weren't in the industry we were in,
you wouldn't have the tools.
We wouldn't have the tools.
I always say I'm so grateful that our business is mindfulness, because there are so many tools that help you with self-awareness. And you know that, like, you know, one day self-care might be sitting in meditation, but other days it might be a glass of wine, or 100%. You know, and within this industry you learn all of these ways to cope with life. 100%. And I'm so grateful that we're in the wellness industry because we have access to that on a daily basis.
Yeah, and the realness of us sharing these stories, I think, makes the way that we, you know, market wellness or share wellness with the world more relatable, because we're like, you know, it's not like we have it all together. It's not like we don't experience like anger and stress and things like that. It's like we do, but we have these tools that we know are helping us, and now we're trying to help others. Like with it. I love what you do. I love your practice and the way that you show up in the world. Like you're such a beautiful little angel.
Likewise. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we're gonna wrap it up, but if folks want to get a hold of you and your practice and what you do, how can they do that?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find us on Instagram at Flow Meditation. It's just FLO Meditation, and online at www.flowmeditation.ca. So yeah, we post all of our events through our social media account. We have a retreat in PEI coming up during the Harvest Moon in September.
So
it'll be lovely, and hosting some really cool community and events in collaboration with other places. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
reach out, send us an
wait.
email, which you can find through our website as well.
Yeah. And if there's another international retreat coming up,
oh, you know there will be.
Change my life.
Yes,
I can't wait for that.
As they do.
Yeah,
as they do.
So
there will
incredible.
be more to come for sure.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
It was such an honor.
Good.
To sit with you.
We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on the Blue Room Podcast on Instagram. Join the conversation. Send us DMs and let us know what you thought about this session or this episode today. Like, it was a whole therapy session. I feel so much better than I did. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much.